was a depressing win for an old band about to go on tour. So let's start with that. Remember at the trade deadline, and there was that rumor that Kevin Durant may be going back to the Warriors, and KD squashed it. Steve Kerr, did he plant it? They need length. They need another score. Now, playoff Jimmy and Steph Curry were great, combined for 75 points. But when you watch them, they need another athlete. They need another wing. And this is where the Jonathan Kuminga story is so obvious. Did not play him again last night. I mean, they're telling the league, we're moving off him. They're doing something. But you watched it last night. Memphis was a Ja Morant turned ankle in an inbounds play from beating the Warriors. So they had great energy in the first half. They had a great game plan, took a 20-point lead. But boy, do they have holes. They couldn't make any stops. They're just not long enough. And Jimmy Butler gave this team a vibe and an energy, but vibe has a ceiling. He brought this intensity to the regular season. And a lot of teams in the regular season, especially the second half, are tanking or resting starters. So, but Golden State looks old. They look tired. They don't have a ton of scoring depth. And outside of Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, who, thank God, hit back-to-back threes, that was the difference probably in the game. They're not terribly dynamic. And so now it's interesting because they face Houston. Houston they're exactly what the Warriors aren't. Young, long, athletic, dynamic, and a great rebounding team. So they're going to blow out the Warriors in a couple of these games. The question is, can there be enough close games in the Houston Warriors series for Golden State to win? Because Golden State will be a much better team in close games. They'll manipulate the refs. They've got the better coach. Draymond, Butler, and Steph have been in so many huge playoff games. Close games, I'll take the Warriors. But they're going to get blown out a couple of times in this series because, an old band can go to the Sphere in Vegas, can still make money in tour, but an old NBA team, you can't hide behind the drums and the lyrics. They looked old. And I'll say this, the Jimmy Butler thing, the playoff Jimmy thing is real. He had a remarkable first half, played well throughout.
Okay. Wow. 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 So, I couldn't play the very beginning part, the first couple sentences, because there was like music playing and stuff like that, and so you can't do that. But he said, essentially that Warriors fans should not feel good about this win. And I 100% disagree. First off, that game was awesome and fun and exciting, and saying that the Warriors just look old and slow and this and that, like, that's, I mean, literally just the other day, people were saying that the honeymoon's over, that Jimmy Butler's not really working, that he has more free throw attempts than field goals, etc., etc. Now Jimmy Butler absolutely balls. Does not look old. Neither does Steph. 37 and 38, absolutely balling. Jimmy Butler, is just doing everything. All the little things. Some of the things that don't always stand out, like I think it was Moody, like, kind of missed a layup, but it was like a tougher shot, and then Jimmy Butler kind of in the fold kind of gives like a little pushback layup, very reminiscent of all the little dirty work things that Drew Holiday did with the Celtics that just don't always show up on the box score. And when you're watching the game, you have to really know ball to like really see so many of these other little things. Like, again, Jimmy Butler having the ball, there were so many key moments. I've talked about this so much recently that, like, Jimmy Butler is another player on the court, and this is why Kuminga's not playing, where he is a player that when he has the ball, he knows exactly what needs to be done, and he can do anything that needs to be done. And how most of the time when you have 5 guys on a court, not all 5 guys are like that. Right? Like, it's just not. There's such a fall off, which is why players like Kuminga are not playing right now. Because these are big moments that you need, that when someone has the ball, when they have the ball in their hand, they need to know what the right thing to do is. Is it dribble? Is it pass? Is it shoot? Like, and it seems so silly to say, but it's a real thing that you consistently see in basketball with all the teams year after year after year after year. And that's why it takes years for basketball players to finally actually get into their prime. It's why they don't jump into the league at 21, 22 and just take over. And like I referenced before, like Ant was lost in the Olympics. He was lost in the Olympics, and you can see the difference from when LeBron had the ball, when Steph had the ball. And you're talking about a guy who's younger, who's more athletic, who can jump and who can do everything in Ant right now. And yet you could see that everything was kind of happening so quickly. And when LeBron had the ball, it was chill. When Steph had the ball, when KD had the ball, you could just feel it. It was like, okay, someone who truly understands how to navigate this flow of the game. And that is what Jimmy Butler does. That is what Steph Curry does. That is what Draymond Green does. So to say that they look old, like, it's just, that's absurd to me. And again, if we want to play this whole game of like, they were, first of all, Ja Morant played for the bulk of that game, okay? Yeah, he got banged up. I don't know what to tell you. Like, he could have come out sooner. Like, he was really lingering on the sideline. So, like, I don't know what to tell you. Also, like, they had a bunch of guys that were hitting threes and hitting shots that don't normally hit those shots, that were, like, shooting through the roof. So, like, okay, well, so that's kind of beneficial for, the Grizzlies. And how about some of the most insane referee calls you could ever imagine at the end of some of the fouls that they were calling, they literally just gave points to the Memphis Grizzlies on multiple possessions. I mean, literally, oh God, I can't think of who was commentating the game, but he was freaking out. I mean, he was just like, oh my God, Reggie Miller. He was like, guys, this is not a foul. Like, what is this? And it happened multiple times. I mean, the one play with like Kevon Looney and I forget who else was in the fold with Edie. I mean, like what even was that? How do you call a foul in that moment and put them on the free throw line? Just insanity. I mean, yeah, the Warriors were rolling. At one point, they were up, 20 points or so. I mean, they were balling. And then, yeah, in typical basketball fashion, the thing that we see in almost every game these days, the score fluctuates. You go up by 20, and then the other team goes on an 18-2 run. Like, it's basketball. We people still look at basketball through the lens of it being like 1984, 1987, 1992. Basketball has changed. You go up big, you go down big. It's up and down. So you have to look beyond that. You have to look beyond just that, but only one team was truly able to go up by 20, and that was the Golden State Warriors. And so we're saying that the Warriors look old, but then they're going up against a young, athletic, fast, and some length Memphis Grizzlies, and yet it was clearly the veterans and the experienced Golden State Warriors that were able to win. And again, the reason why the problem with Kuminga is because Kuminga to this day, he clearly just unfortunately does not have high basketball IQ, okay? He just doesn't. You have to know what you can do. My dad used to talk about this all the time, that you have so many players, that truly understand the game, and you have some players that they're just awesome players. They're just great, right? They're either, really physically gifted or, whatever it may be, but they don't understand the game, deeply. And we know it's a spectrum. That's why people call LeBron like a savant and a genius and this and that, and rightfully so, rightfully earned. And then we have other players that, again, are beasts and can be monsters and can dominate in a game per se, but like they don't understand the game deeply, right? They don't have a high basketball IQ. It's not insulting their intelligence. It's not calling them dumb. It's not calling them stupid. It's a spectrum. Just like how we can praise LeBron for knowing the game virtually better than everyone else, we can also criticize people that don't. And that is the problem with Kuminga. He never fits that flow. He never can really read the flow of a game. And and again, that's why the Warriors aren't playing him. And make no mistake about it, the Warriors won it. If Steph was like, put Kuminga in, Kerr, like, what are you doing? Kuminga would be playing, right? We've seen this all throughout the history of the NBA of, these guys, they want the young guys off the court. They want the guys that just don't quite get it off the court. LeBron, Steph, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Dwayne Wade, like they need it. They need guys that know the game, when you're playing in the playoffs, in high-stress, important games, when the score is going back and forth. What was the fourth quarter? I mean, like, the Warriors were up by 1, the Warriors were down by 2, the Warriors were up by 3, tie game. When you keep going up and down, up and down, up and down like this, you need high IQ players. You need the experience, because things can just completely just go off the rails very quickly. Which is, again, why you see, the 2-3 best basketball players of the last, 30 years, Kobe, LeBron, Steph, they all struggle with the younger guys, with the guys that just don't quite get it. Just don't quite get it. And it's not knocking them, as individuals. But like I said, that's why I love using Ant as an example. Ant is an absolute monster and a beast, and will continue to get better in the NBA. But just watch him in the Olympics. It is night and day. LeBron is old man, literally all grade. He looked old in the Olympics. He looked like he was running on fumes. Steph was even struggling, obviously, in the beginning of the Olympics, but it was night and day. You could see the groundedness. You could see Steph, KD, etc., Drew Holiday, they just knew what needed to be done. They knew how to read the flow of the game. And it's something that just comes with experience. And unfortunately, Kuminga he's just not there. And you can see it when you watch him on the court. You can see it. There's so many times that you're like, okay, pass the ball back out to Steph. Or, all right, you're kind of trapped, look for Looney, or, whoever, find Jimmy Butler. And he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. And, it's tough, because basketball, we don't always look at it this way, because it's such a back and forth. You're on offense, you're on defense, you're on offense, you're on defense. But basketball is such a possession sport. It's very similar to football. You have a drive. You're on your offensive drive. You got to convert the third down. You got to convert, it's 4th and 1. You got to go for it, right? There's many moments that actually happen like that throughout a basketball game, whether it's the second quarter or whether there's 15 seconds left, in the fourth. And when you mess those things up throughout a game, it's very similar to going for it on 4th and 2 and not converting, and now you give the ball back to the other team. It becomes problematic, especially in games like this. I mean, again, this was an awesome game. I loved watching it. It had everything you would want out of a game. And so to say anything, to take away... To have any negative takeaway from this is really kind of absurd. We know the Warriors struggle with length. That has been who they have been throughout their entire run with Steph and and company. And you're right. I would love, if you're a Warriors fan, you would love them to have a true bona fide center, right? You would love them to have true length. I don't know why they haven't done it in the last decade, right? They've been on this run for the last 11 years or so. I don't know why they haven't done it. I really don't. And you would like them to be able to do it. I do think, obviously, getting KD. I think KD is one of the greatest basketball players to ever walk the face of this earth. So obviously, getting a KD will never hurt you. And you're right. If I had to choose between Jimmy Butler and KD, I will always choose KD. Always, always, always. But you just can't take away anything. You can't, talk about how, maybe Jimmy Butler really isn't that good right now, and, what's really going on, and, he can't really score, and this or that. And then you see how massive Jimmy Butler was in that game. Not even just the points. Obviously, the points were huge. I think he had 22 at halftime or something. But you have to look beyond just the points. Draymond Green was an absolute monster in that game, and what did he have, 3 points, 4? I mean, he did, he had nothing, but yet he had the best plus minus, I think, of the entire game. You have to look beyond just points. There were so many crucial moments that the game was starting to get a little crazy, a little tight, a little close, and you have Jimmy Butler get the ball, and you can see him assess the court. You can see him assess where all the Warriors are, where all the Grizzlies are, and he's like, you could see it in that moment. He's like, I'm going to attack the rim, and I'm going to draw contact, or you know what? I'm going to push real fast. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to kick the ball out. You can see him many times assess. He's looking up, and he's assessing everything. And not all players are like that. In fact, the vast majority of players are not like that. Which is why basketball teams typically only have I mean, think about it. And in any given moment, the NBA has 10, 15 truly great players at any given moment. I mean, if we're really going to be honest, maybe like 12, 10. I mean, like, seriously, it's limited. It's limited. And so don't take for granted some of these little things. It's not just about points, although obviously points matter. But if we're going to assess the game and assess a player's impact, especially like a player like a Jimmy Butler, it's beyond that. Same thing as Steph. Steph put up 37 points, 8 rebounds, and yes, he had moments where he made some amazing threes, back-to-back threes, etc., etc. But just the way how he moves on the court, the way how he opens everything up, it's just, it's art. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Golden State Warriors? Are you concerned about this victory? Do you think that they're going to be blown out of games against the Rockets? Do you think they look old and slow? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.